anniversary of the Million Man March. Brother Farrakhan was out there representing, dispensing a very, very, very positive and powerful message as usual.
Absolutely.
And I just felt that it was befitting of us to speak on that.
To address that.
I mean, we've definitely had an opportunity to be introduced to a new element of hip hop, the fifth element, knowledge. So I feel that it's only appropriate that we start contributing and start expressing that leg of it. So with that being said, I know I was with Sean on Saturday when we was in the studio, and we had an opportunity to kind of like catch a little bit of the tail end of it. But just from that much alone, he was sharing some very powerful and positive stuff. And so I just wanted to actually just kind of get y'all's take on it from that. Was you there, Sean? No, I wasn't there.
Anybody that knows me knows that I wake up early, and anybody else knows that I'm really fortunate I pay attention to all my relationships, because relationships turn into other relationships and other relationships. So with that said, before I go any further, I definitely want to make sure that not only with me, not only with us here at the squad, not only with Minister Farrakhan, not only with Obama, not only with your teacher, not only with your mom, like just listen, and take what they say that you can apply. Don't take everything. You don't have to live by someone else's word, whatever. Just do you, make your own laws. That's what I want to say. Like, just take what you can and eat what you can. With that said, listening to Farrakhan was such value if you're looking for valuable perception, if you're looking for questions answered, if you're looking to get those answers of what is it, what to do next, where we're going, what's the plan, what can you do. I feel like all those questions were answered in my book personally. One of the takeaways were, before that, real quick, let me tell you a curveball. The Jahama, well, I can't even say the name, but there was some construction going on during that time that was loud to try and drown out the sound of the mics. You feel me?
Word?
So it was definitely, if you were worried about if there was going to be some distractions, it was not on our side. We were completely peaceful, but there was controversy with that. But with that said, Minister Farrakhan, one of the most important things he said that I got was the woman is the leader, and she's 75% of the rebuild that's going to happen. So the smallest things we can do as far as removing that B word from our language, doing anything we can to uplift our women, be it that they're so important to our future, they're the creators, the holder of our children. It's just time we just big them up, and I feel like doing that, us bigging them up, them bigging themselves up, that's just gonna big everybody up. So I that was one of the biggest things I took away from that. That's just how I feel. So just treat our women with respect, and oh wait, two things. With the holiday coming up, shout out to my boy 20 Mills with the Thanksgiving. One of the biggest points Farrakhan said, we invest over, I forgot the exact number, but it was billions worth of dollars.
Oh, it was trillions, actually.
It was trillions?
It was trillions.
When it comes to the holiday season, when it comes to Christmas and Black Friday, and what he meant by saying that is the power. If we stop giving money away at that time and we keep it in our pocket, that may help us not be broke 2 weeks from then or 2 months from then, or it would give us the opportunity to invest in that camera that we've been waiting on, or that microphone that we've been dying to spit over, or that car that we needed to do, so just, he said, to give you something to say to your family that's going to be looking for the gifts. He said, take this time, be around your family, be merry, cook your Christmas gifts, and reconcile with your family members. Everybody got crazy family members. Everybody got something going on. Everybody has a conversation that they can have with their family members. So that's what he said. Instead of buying gifts and giving money away to these people, let's spend time with the people that love us most, or that should love us most, and let's make sure that they love us most, and love each other. So those are the two biggest things that I took away from Minister Farrakhan. Everything else is definitely on YouTube for you to build your own perception about everything. How's that? Is that cool?
Excellent. We have another Sabir Bay sighting.
Oh, come on, man. Stop playing. What's up, Idi? I mean,
Nah, we got the one and only Sabir Bay once again in the building to chop it up with us, to spit some of this knowledge. So what you got for us, Sabir?
None. It just I want to stay on the lines of justice or else, and I want to say this, man, because it's going to be very hard. It is not being negative, as far as us celebrating this Christmas thing, because because of people's religion, they're going to celebrate it. Regardless what the minister said, they're going to celebrate. Let's be realistic with it. I've never celebrated it. I think I stopped when I was probably 17. That's the last time I don't celebrate none of their holidays, none of them. Let's not just talk about, if we talk about justice, what I was looking at, we need to have been talking about law, because you can't have justice if you don't understand the law. And this is what I know there was a lot of people that was on the ground, a lot of Moors that was out there too. But when I got the feedback, they were communicating with the people, which we should be communicating with the people. We can't depend on one person to do that. And I got a lot of feedback, because people hit me up, Sabir, what do you think about the march, and what do you think about Minister Farrakhan? I'm like, listen, he's our elder. I respect him. I am semi still in the Nation of Islam, but I'm not a member like I used to be. But I said he's 82. What we got to do is do what he did, and we need to, like you said, passing the torch, and we need to not celebrate Christmas. Let's not pay our tickets. If we get car tickets, this is when the law comes in. See what I'm saying? And that's good. Most hood dudes don't, right? So if we took our money out of, look, I don't want to pay taxes. But now some people out here may be listening to this saying, well, dude, what are you talking about? They're going to come after me and pay taxes. No. Set the tax law then. See how the law comes into play? If
you gotta know what you work.
You have to know what you work, and that's why I said we can't just say justice without understanding the law part, because the law has to be there, and you have to know something about the law. So if we saying, well, if you get a bunch of tickets, don't pay them then. Find out what they're about. Understand the motor vehicle law, which I will be talking about on my show on Friday, because it's not a criminal act. It's an infraction. See, people have to know these little things, so we pulled our money away from that and stopped just giving it to them, because I heard they charge people, what,
That's outrageous.
outrageous, right?
$80.
I mean, dude, listen.
My shit's $7
plus fees.
Listen, let me tell you something. Imagine, I went in a courtroom one day out here, and I'm just seeing people taking deals. I said, wait a minute, is this real? Understand what I'm saying? If we're talking about Christmas is small, because people are going to celebrate it. If you really want to have that pull, let's not pay the jaywalking tickets. Study what jaywalking is. You follow me? When I first came out here, they said it was $300 for a jaywalking ticket. I said, wait a minute. If I'm very versed in law and I understand what jaywalking means, most people don't, because they don't look it up. Do any of y'all in this room know what that means?
I've never looked it up before in my life.
Now, we automatically do what? They say you were jaywalking because you created a artificial or invisible line and saying I should, you know what I mean? But jaywalking means one who's incapable of walking. I'm going to repeat this again real slow. Jaywalking means one who is incapable of walking. So if that's what that means, why didn't you just give me a warning and say, excuse me? It's about money. So again, if we took our money and stopped paying these people, but what happens, we talk all this tough talk, but we fear that. We fear them coming at us. You see what I'm saying? And as us dealing with the Moors, we challenge every single angle. And I was saying it should have been Moors up there who knew the law on that panel just along with Minister Farrakhan.
So they can give that.
You see what I'm saying? Just to give, because we're talking about justice or else what? Because Europeans think everything is a joke with us. And I'm going to tell you something. They're looking at this right now saying, look, this is a joke. They ain't going to do anything. What they going to do? They're going to go back and sing and do all. No. You want to hurt them? Start challenging them on this law. Start challenging them on the jurisdiction. That's how you make the changes. That's if you really want to. But what happens, we're fighting against our own people who don't know anything about the law and say, y'all wrong, you're going to go to jail. Well, Malcolm said, if you're black, you're born in jail. So it is what it is. So the only thing you can do with a person who have this knowledge, if I'm sitting in the cell with you, what I'm going to do? I don't watch sports. So what I'm going to be doing? I'm going to be sitting with the Christians, I'm going to be sitting with the Muslims, I'm going to be sitting, and I'm educating you. And it happened. This is real life what happened with us when we were going to jail. So they would separate us from the population because we was teaching people. I don't watch basketball and football. I was in the building. So they don't want you to know any of this information. So you can't be afraid to go to jail if you know what you're dealing with, if you're walking in the spirit. If you know what you need to do, you're going to do it. So us talking about just boycotting Christmas, I'm with it. I'm Muslim. I don't celebrate it, first and foremost. I don't celebrate any of their holidays. But you ain't going to get a Christian to not do that. I'm just being real. First of all, we got to clean up on what we're eating. Our eating habits are bad. If a person is, if a person eating wrong, they're going to think wrong. So you're not going to think on your toes like that. So you don't fear any of this stuff. And I said, I commend Minister Farrakhan for bringing those brothers together. But it could have been tighter than that. We should have been out really going in on a law in which those Moorish brothers was on the ground building, saying, you're not Negro, black, and colored. You know what this is about? There's a declaration. I want everybody to look it up. Which should have been brought up. And I don't know who could. I'm not saying what Minister Farrakhan. Someone else should have brought it up. You have the declarations. You can go online and look it up right now. The Declarations of Rights of a Child. Right now. Go look it up. United Nations. And also the other declaration speaks about every child at birth can have a name and a nationality at birth. So now I would ask you the question, what is the nationality of our people? So not the one in New York, we're talking about Geneva. There's 2 United Nations. So if the United Nations saying every child is entitled to a name and nationality at birth, then why are we telling our people this? It's there. That's law now. We're talking about law. So now when something happens to one of us, what happens? We go to the United Nations. Other nations will start helping us because it's on a larger scale now. You're not dealing with artificial entities, which is black people. You follow me? So again, if we're talking about law, because law covers all events, that's the talk that we need to be having with our people, right there, to fix the problem. Not, because first of all, paper, money is made out of paper. They create it. They make it every single day. Doesn't matter. You gotta understand, if you're pulling your dollars, understand the only money is gold and silver. That is the only money. If anyone reads the Constitution, it says it. No debt can be paid other than silver and gold. Now you tell me why you pull out your pocket, you have a Federal Reserve note. It says it right on the top. It's a note. It's not money. So when you're having someone's money, you're paying off a debt with a debt note. That's law. We're talking law now. So your debt never get taken care of. You follow me? When you paying, all these things play a part. When you buying a car with their debt note, they own your car because it's their debt notes. It says right on there, the Bank of San Francisco, the Bank of such and such, is right on there.
And I heard, and I've also
That's law.
observed, like when you get your mail at the crib, like everything on that mail, your name is in full capitals.
They telling you all caps.
The straw man or that artificial entity that was created.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
not
so,
real.
yeah.
It is not real. It's an entity, and what happens, they created that. So again, if we're talking about justice or else, let's talk about the law. You have to bring in the laws. They're not talking about you and I when they building with this, because they can't touch a live human being.
So
They have
where
to
does
do an entity.
where would I start if
Yeah, that was my question.
in day one to study law?
I would say, brother, honestly, invest in law dictionaries. I put it out there all the time we have all law dictionaries from 1 to probably 6 on a drive, and people get them all. One book costs you probably now, I heard, $1,500. When we was getting them, they was cheap because everybody started getting them now. But what we did is put all the books together as one, and $75 for all the books. Start getting into the book, study all the words, and when you see them, you're gonna start saying, wait, they ain't gonna do with me, dude. Like, wait, what are they doing? Driving? This is one of the other things they do to people. You ever hear the commercial say, we have drivers and passengers? You ever hear that saying? A driver someone pays a driver, somebody that's employed, right?
Mm-hmm.
A passenger pays a fare. People understand that. They're 2 different things. That's commercial. A passenger, if you look up the definition, you could probably Google it. A passenger pays a fare for something, like you get on a bus or mass transit. If I was in a car with somebody, I would be a guest. Change the language. Guests don't pay. You see what I'm saying? So all these little things you will find inside of a law dictionary. And I tell people, you can read them. That don't mean that you have to go to law school. You just have to know it. So when you don't believe what somebody else is
Then
telling
it
you.
would be a play on words because once you get into court, you think you're saying something and you're not saying anything close to what you need to
You're
be
not.
saying.
Dude, listen. They know this in court. Number one, they speak Latin in court. Amicus curiae, in propria persona, all those terms are Latin terms that they use. You may not know what they're talking about. You'll be like, what is this doing? Let me get him over here.
But
You're supposed
once
to
you
study
know,
this
you
thing.
know.
Once you know, you know. It ain't like they don't know, they know. The judge is a former attorney. He's not an attorney when he's up there. The prosecutor is an attorney. You have to know how all this is set up. There is a term called in propria persona, which means in your proper person. So most of the DAs, somebody said, well, you in pro se? No, pro se means prosecutable. I'm not in pro se. That's what they'll say. I said in propria persona, which means in my proper person. Now, can I be in my proper person being Negro, black, and colored? No, I can't, because that's who I am. I'm property. But if I'm in my proper person of who I am, how could you possibly have jurisdiction over me? Because now everything deals with jurisdiction. When you're dealing with people and you have an address, they ask you questions when you go in there. People don't even pay attention to it. They ask you, what's your name? Where do you live? Once they got your name, they say, okay, we got that part. Now, where your address? We got the jurisdiction now. So it's status, jurisdiction, adjudication. Once we got those three, we got you. Because you just gave us who you were. You just gave us a jurisdiction. Now we can adjudicate. That's how it's set up. People got to understand that. So again, the courtroom is just as what it is. It's called a courtroom. Like you're playing basketball. Court. This is court right here, where we at.
We're holding court.
We're holding court. So people have to understand the lingo of what's going on. So again, that talk, I don't expect, the nation or Minister Farrakhan to speak on. That's when it comes to us, so we can explain that to the people of what we need to do. And this is how we got to fix the problem. All the stuff that we see right now, like a sister told me her car got taken in Detroit, but she didn't have insurance. I said, well, if you're a Muslim or a Christian, do you know that's gambling? The Quran and the Bible speaks about gambling. People don't even understand insurance is a gamble. The gamble is they know that you're not going to be in an accident, and you gamble that you are going to be in an accident. See what I'm saying? But people don't understand it's a gamble. But I was telling her, this is for y'all too, if you have insurance on a car, why don't you do this? You want to take money back? Tell them to give you a reimbursement if you don't have an accident within that year. You notice they never give you your money back. You follow me? So these are the things that how you can shut them down lawfully. That's lawfully.
I have a question real quick.
Mhm.
So, my father's a lawyer.
He's an attorney.
Yeah, he's an attorney. And I'm
gonna explain that too in a minute.
Yeah, please, no, I love, does this work? Is this on? Well, even so if you do that in a courtroom, does it only work if you have a lot of people? Because, if I go in there and I'm like, listen, guys, I'm not going to pay my ticket, are they going to just book me and just do it anyway? They're kind of big bullies in big government,
But see, this is what happens. And I share this with people a lot. There's a term called duress. Y'all might have heard this in movies and stuff. You probably don't know what the hell it means.
Under duress.
Okay, that means that you're forcing me to do something. It's not by my free will. It's you're forcing me. So really, can that stand? If you read Constitution, it tells you certain things. You can't be forced to be a witness against yourself. So most of the stuff that they're doing to people are forcing you.
Yeah.
But you're right. It has to be more than
More
one.
than
That's
one.
why now they're trying to set up that if you're not part of the case, because we've been coming in dealing with this, you have something to do with the case, you can come in. They try to block people from coming in the courtroom when it's supposed to be open to the public. You follow me?
Yeah.
So when I'm speaking to those, like you said, lawyers, but they actually are attorneys.
Yeah.
They're not lawyers, as someone who is versed in skill in law, which means jurist.
Yeah.
That's what a lawyer is. I'm versed in law. It means jurist.
Yeah.
Attorney means to practice. That's why they say they practice at law, but not in the law. Two difference. They're at law, not in. Two difference. Under corpus juris secundum, there's a term called at law and in law. Two difference. Mean that that's like saying I'm at the door, but I'm not in the door.
Uh-huh.
That's how it is. So again, when you're dealing with subpoenas and all these other things, they're basically making you be a witness to yourself, and people don't even know what subpoena is because they're dealing with what you just said, the straw man. A subpoena means a witness coming to testify. That's what it is.
Yeah, well, I know the federal text, I know that that's not written in the Constitution.
None of this stuff is, because they only supposed to deal with alcohol, tobacco, and firearms.
Exactly. So, and I know, there's a lot of controversy over Lincoln, who got shot because he didn't want to implement, a Federal Reserve Bank that's just not technically owned by the government.
No, it's not. They probably own. All the banks are probably owned.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
all
all
probably
of them.
own. And this is why, it's like if y'all take out a loan with Sabir Bay's bank, all of y'all, right? You gotta keep paying me taxes because you're using something that's mine. No matter what you're doing, you still gotta pay me. So when you use the notes, you're using something that's theirs. So they're gonna draw interest on it. There's a term in law it's called non-interest bearing account, which means that you don't draw interest off of your money being in the bank. A savings account is basically you're drawing interest, so now they can tax you on it. This is factology.
So if you're using money, you have to pay the income tax?
You have to pay on that money. You have to pay. It's called
Yeah.
I believe it's called I think it's called fractional reserve. There's a
But-
whole history behind this.
How do we change it? I mean, unless people unify, because that's the biggest issue.
I
No
would
one's going
say
to change it.
educate one another. I mean, I said educate. I tell people all the time, get these books. When it's time to challenge, you will know. You will know when it's time to do it. Like I said, when you start studying this law, it just opens up. You start seeing it. Even though it may be one or two, many times they got me for contempt in court back in Philly. And I used to argue with them and say, you don't have contempt power. But I know they had the guns.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
That's what I'm
But
saying.
the reality was, if you put me in there, I'm just going to hold class.
Yeah, of course.
You follow me? Because I don't watch nothing. I'm going to hold. So that's more of a problem for them.
Of course.
You
But
see what I'm saying?
They have to resort to being bullies, though. If you're by yourself, though, and they can. That's the issue that I have is that they're swinging the stick, and if you're one person, powering
That's
the
true.
people, absolutely. But one educated person, I mean,
It's
the
many
system's
of
not
them, though,
gonna
bro.
fall.
It's just
Yeah.
that they don't have the platform.
Yeah.
Malcolm said that the media can make you love your oppressor and hate the oppressed. The media is the power.
Yeah.
But what happens, you get all this shit hop and everything else on the air, so you're not gonna, pay attention to what's going on. You follow me? So if we put the correct info up here, like I was talking about dead entertainment television, everybody was watching it today, BET, this is what you want to get. But if we put, again, I'm not here to condemn none of it. I'm like Elijah Muhammad. Just put the clean glass up beside the dirty glass and let the people choose it. The problem is the dirty glass is always up here. You see what I'm saying? So what we got to do is do that. And this is what we've been doing, and I've been even doing on radio since 2003, putting the information out there. If you want to know anything about the tax laws, I tell people you probably go online and punch in Title 26 of the United States Codes. The United States Codes is where all the laws are at. That's the tax laws, Title 26. If you want to know anything about the motor vehicle laws, the CFR, United States Codes, Title 49, you will get it. And I tell everybody to get their motor vehicle law books of every state. And understand, when you read this stuff, you might want to go hurt somebody. I'm just being real with it, dude.
Well, I mean, we know they've been screwing us forever, though. I mean, especially the banks. I mean, that's one of the primary reasons why America broke off to become America is because the banks had a stranglehold. The economic slavery is a whole different issue, and I feel like, I hate to say this because I can't really say this, but I feel like conflict between us is not really relevant. It's really the classism that creates so much
It's classism.
of the
That's what
real
it is.
problem.
That's what it's about. It's about classism. I don't know if y'all familiar with the King Alfred's plan. If you don't,
Yeah.
I would suggest you get it, dude. The King Alfred's plan is called Rex 84. They did it in 1969. They talked about how to control the people. And what they were saying is that keep the people busy, that they can't think back to nature. Keep them educated under 5th grade. Most of our people can't read the daily news, regular paper, because number one, you can't analyze what you're reading.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You don't even know what you're reading.
No critical thinking skills.
There you go. And every school, most of these higher schools have critical thinking. And actually, Brother Tides, Tariq Bey, and myself, we did a video probably 8 years ago called Introduction to Critical Thinking. How you think critically. Like, you just don't jump out, you just wait a minute and just, analyze it, scrutinize it, and put it back together. But that's the part of when I see Minister Farrakhan saying justice or else, that's what I look at as. Okay, let's do it. It's time for us to do it. It's the atmosphere right now. It's that time that we have to start educating our people. And this is why I put everything on my drive. And if anybody want any of the law dictionary, you can email me. The books are $75 for like 6 of them. It's info@thesabirbayshow.com. info@thesabirbayshow.com. You can get them all.
Hey, real quick, Sabir,
Sure.
could you please kind of share the difference between education and knowledge? Because I feel some people, when you say like get educated, they say, well, I went to college or I go to school, so I am educated.
Well, they're not educated.
But
They're
they don't have
indoctrinated.
knowledge.
But they're not educated. They're indoctrinated. Knowledge comes from learning every day. That's knowledge. You learn every single day of your life. What's his name? Oh man, it's on the tip of my tongue. J.A. Rogers said he learned more traveling than he did in school. Traveling, that's knowledge. Malcolm spoke of the difference between being qualified and competent. When you qualified, you limited. When you competent, you step beyond that line. Malcolm was competent. He had knowledge. When you're in school, you're going through 12 years of brainwashing camp and then 4 more or 6 more years of brainwashing camp. That's indoctrination. It's not education. Because number one, once you understand what education means, edu means to draw out what's in you. That's what edu means, to draw out what's in you already. So it's really, they're putting in and then they're taking out. That's indoctrination. So that's the difference between the two. Knowledge is knowledge.
Say no more.
Yeah. Like, any other questions? I'm like, can we go? Let's
Hey,
go.
man, I'm good. I'm good over here. So, I mean, with that being said, just real quick, shout them out. You know, let them know
Yes,
where they
sir.
can find you, and we'll go ahead and call it a night.
Yes, sir. Listen, y'all can check me out. I won't be here this Friday. I'm actually be on the road. We have a film showing Out of Darkness in Houston, Texas, on the 17th, and then the 24th in Dallas, 24th and 25th in Dallas, and then we're doing Detroit on November the 7th, the Out of Darkness premiere. And they can check, my show is every Friday, 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. My Twitter, Sabir Bey, Instagram, Real Sabir Bey, that's SABIRBEY, man. And I want to thank y'all, man.
Like, all day, baby.
Yes,
Anytime.
sir.